Good morning from our News Nation headquarters in America's heartland. It's time for news for all Americans. I'm Nick Smith. Right now, a massive winter storm is blanketing a huge part of the United States, stretching from the Great Plains to Washington, D.C. Flights delayed, chaos, and pileups on frozen roads. Schools canceling classes as parts of the country prepare for the biggest blizzard in nearly a decade.
We haven't had a snowstorm in a while, so it's time. I'm ready. Hope my job closed down tomorrow.
I was excited because it's a lot of snow and we haven't had this much snow in like 4 years.
We're live across the country tracking the storm's impact, which city is seeing its biggest snowstorm in 30 years. And we have the latest forecast detailing what you can expect. Today, President Joe Biden will be in New Orleans visiting the families who lost loved ones in the Bourbon Street New Year's Day terror attack. It comes as investigators release new video of the suspect planting bombs and scoping out the French Quarter with smart glasses. The chilling new details just revealed about the level of planning that went into his barbaric rampage. And new video shows a fireball shooting out of a plane's wing, just the latest terrifying air travel incident in recent weeks. What investigators say caused this fiery landing. It's Monday, and it's morning in America. Good morning, but first, millions of Americans waking up to snow, icy roads, schools and services frozen shut in what's looking like the worst winter storm in years. You're looking live at Carmel, Indiana, courtesy of EarthCam. Freezing temperatures, heavy snow, and wind hitting across much of the country, leaving a mess in its wake. The severe weather already responsible for stranded cars and hundreds of crashes across the country and knocking out power to more than 100,000 homes and businesses all across the Midwest. We have live team coverage of the storm and its impact. Let's start first, though, with News Nation's Tom Dempsey right in the crosshairs in Washington. Tom, how's the East Coast preparing for the weather that's expected to impact it today?
Hey, good morning, Nick. Good morning from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., one of the many areas dealing with this massive winter storm right now. I want to point something out. Usually when you're coming into the News Nation Bureau or just outside of that right now, you can see the Capitol building all lit up, ready to go. Now you can barely make it out in this winter storm at this hour. This snow very much coming down. It's almost a little tough to see at this point. But like I said, this is all part of this massive winter storm right now. The National Weather Service saying parts of the East Coast could see their heaviest snowfall in decades. And right now, 60 million people are in the path of this storm. A states of emergency declared in states like New Jersey and Kansas. 7 states in total dealing with states of emergency at this moment. But this storm has already caused a mess in the Midwest with that snow and ice, causing all sorts of car crashes, very dangerous conditions out on the roads. And like I said, this is being felt in many different states across the United States right now. In Kentucky, a state trooper was actually hurt after his patrol car was hit. State leaders are urging folks to stay off the roads today. But millions across the Midwest are shoveling themselves out from this record-setting snowfall this morning as this storm heads east. Kansas City saw a foot of snow in 24 hours, with city leaders saying that that's the most they've seen there in over 30 years. Louisville, Kentucky shattered a 115-year-old record with their nearly 8 inches of snow over the weekend. And areas from Philadelphia to Richmond are expected to be hit the worst today, with some of the areas getting a foot of snow. And this storm is also bringing heavy winds and freezing cold temperatures. Wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour were recorded across the Midwest over the weekend. And the East Coast is expected to feel temperatures up to 25 degrees below normal. The National Weather Service warning the Northeast will feel the bitter cold for several days after this storm. And at this moment, we're actually seeing some emergency crews come by here. It's important to have these roads clear, no matter what state you are in. If you're seeing snow right now, probably best not to drive to allow exactly that, emergency crews to get by. These roads here definitely dealing with some snow. If I had to describe it, Nick, it's a very powdery type snow, not necessarily good for snowball fights at this moment, but there's actually supposed to be a snowball fight later this morning, an official one here in Washington, D.C. We're expecting to be there, but definitely this snow very much coming down at this hour in the nation's capital, Nick.
Tom, stay safe. Tom Dempsey, live from our nation's capital. Tom, thank you so much. And here's a look at an EarthCam video from Cincinnati. The area is preparing for warming centers to help people through the cold as that cold wave hits the area. Now, meteorologist Max Paris joins us with a larger overview of the forecast for this winter storm expected to impact millions today, Max.
Yeah, you know, right now, Nick, 64 million Americans under winter storm alerts. This will get trimmed back through the morning. Like St. Louis, your warning will expire at the top of the hour as this continues to move east. But Chicago, you just got added into a winter weather advisory for a lake effect snow band. So far-reaching impacts from this storm system, certainly with a lot of snow, that pink indicating that ice, mainly hitting parts of the Commonwealth states. Farther south through Richmond, and then you can see rain down towards Atlanta as well. So it's been a messy situation, certainly, and we have that heavy round of snow on top of Tom Dempsey in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. That's going to be the hot spot for the highest snow totals today, and with the biggest impacts all along the Mid-Atlantic, along the I-95 corridor. So let's track this out for you. We're going to be seeing improvements as we get through the day, especially in the Ohio River Valley, with that snow finally coming to an end. Here we are by 2 Eastern time. Indy's going to start to quiet down. We'll start to see this exit out of Paducah. Louisville, you'll start to see some clearing. But notice, as we enter into midnight tonight, still light snow ongoing for Washington, D.C., north towards Philly. That snow cutting south into Richmond, Virginia, too. That all exits late tonight into tomorrow morning, but you can certainly see the winds out of the northwest will cause for that chilly feel through much of the day. Now, checking in on how much snow is still to go, looks like another half foot still possible as we look at parts of the Virginias as well, with significant icing farther south. You saw all that pink on radar. That's translating to freezing rain, meaning as soon as the rain hits the pavement, which is sub-freezing, it freezes over, turns into an ice rink, and that's why we are still tracking that potential for significant icing along with those historic snow totals too. So, Nick, a significant snow system impacting millions of Americans, cutting from Colorado to D.C. in just a matter of 24 hours. So this is a big deal here as we get the new year started with a potent winter storm.
Meteorologist Max Paris with the very latest. And Max, we're definitely hoping for the best. Federal investigators say the man behind the New Year's Day terror attack traveled to New Orleans twice ahead of his deadly rampage. The FBI also says that during one of those trips, Shamsuddin Jabbar used smart glasses to take video of Bourbon Street and the French Quarter. The new details coming just ahead of President Biden's trip to New Orleans today as the city marks the start of Mardi Gras season just after the ISIS-inspired attack. NewsNation's Alina Shirazi has the latest from the White House. Alina, what else is the FBI saying about this attack now that they've released this video?
Yeah, Nick, good morning to you from Washington, D.C., a very snowy Washington, D.C. And we know on Sunday, investigators saying that Army veteran Shamsuddin Jabbar planned the attack for months. He took multiple trips to the city. We know as recently as November, the FBI says that Jabbar used a pair of smart glasses made by Meta. We know that's Facebook's parent company, to record video as he rode a bike through the French Quarter on Halloween. The FBI adds Jabbar was also wearing the glasses during his attack, as you mentioned, but he did not turn on those glasses' live streaming capabilities. That's what they say for now. Investigators are also sharing this new video showing Jabbar planting improvised explosive devices around Bourbon Street.
Jabbar placed the first IED in the cooler at Bourbon and St. Peter Street at 1:53 a.m. Someone on Bourbon Street, who we have no reason to believe was involved, dragged the cooler a block to Bourbon and Orleans, where our teams found it after the attack.
And investigators also say Jabbar traveled to Egypt and Canada in the summer of 2023, but it's still unclear, Nick, if those trips are linked to the attack in New Orleans. It's also still not known exactly why he chose New Orleans for the scene of his attack. So still some outstanding questions there, Nick.
And so many to be answered. Alina Shirazi with the very latest. Alina, thank you. Joining me now is Mike Harrigan, who has 30 years experience in law enforcement, including as a former FBI agent. Mike, good morning. I have to ask you, the FBI says Shamsuddin Jabbar made at least 2 trips to New Orleans prior to his attack, one in October, one in November, and that he wore those smart glasses so we can literally see through his eyes the planning that it seems like he took as he scoped out buildings. What new information can be learned at this point in the investigation?
Well, I think what you see from his use of the glasses, I mean, it goes to his state of mind and the amount of preparation that he did in advance of this. I mean, that's important to know, is that this wasn't a spur of the moment thing on his part, but that he planned this out over months, if not years, to do this attack. And utilizing those glasses gave him some good intelligence on the ground. It allowed him to see the perspective he would have as he drove a vehicle similar to that down the street, and just helped him plan it out.
And Mike, can you talk to us about your training, telling us how maybe little experience he had in actually knowing what he was doing when it came to making a device that would actually work the way he had intended it to?
Absolutely. The ATF, who are the consummate professionals with explosive devices, they assessed those two devices he left on the street, and clearly the detonation method of that, or the detonation mechanism, was substandard and wouldn't work. He obviously didn't have access to real detonators, so he tried to use some type of electronic device to trigger those explosives. They didn't work, thankfully, for the public that was there. But it shows that he really wasn't competent in doing an explosive attack, and that his focus shifted really to doing a vehicular attack, knowing that there would be a lot of people out on the street that night, and that he took advantage of a gap in security there and caused maximum mayhem with his vehicle.
Now, Mike, the FBI says that they're also tracking Jabbar's previous trips that he made to both Egypt and Canada in 2023. What could investigators glean from that?
Well, I think from those trips there, they're concerning. Anytime a subject goes overseas, you have to ask, who was he meeting with? Was it tourism, really, or was he furthering his conspiracy, or was there a conspiracy with some foreign actors? So the Bureau is going to be looking very close at what he did overseas, who he talked to, and matching that up to an analysis of his electronic signature, his electronic footprint that he left through the devices he accessed, conversations he had, to see if there was maybe other actors involved, or whether he was inspired or led in some way by overseas resources or assets.
Mike, here again, thank you again. Clearly, we have a lot more we need to learn about exactly what his movements were. Mike, thank you so much and have a good day.
You're welcome. You too.
Xavier Walton is looking now, tracking our other top stories and headlines of the day. Xavier, we know the Congress is expected to certify that election today. Now, is that going to happen even with the storm?
Yeah, rain or shine. In this case, we're talking about snow right in D.C. But yeah, Nick, noon Eastern, lawmakers will be starting the process of certifying President-elect Trump's victory. It also marks 4 years since supporters of his tried to stop the certification of the 2020 election results. But in large part, the certification process is just a formality. And as of right now, there are no planned protests or objections by lawmakers that we know of, at least right now. Vice President Kamala Harris is presiding over the counting. Still, security is beefed up following what happened 4 years ago today with tall metal, you see it here, tall metal fencing surrounding the Capitol. And speaking about the matter on Sunday, President Joe Biden says that we have to get back to a normal transfer of power. And right now, here's a live picture. President Jimmy Carter laying in repose at the Carter Center in Atlanta. You're looking live at his flag-covered casket as members of the military stand guard. President Carter will lie in repose until tomorrow. Then he and his family later travel to Washington, D.C. for several days of memorials. On Thursday, his funeral will take place at the Washington National Cathedral. Then on Friday, Carter will be buried in a private graveside service. And then this, a group of migrants are safe after being kidnapped, likely by a cartel. The governor of Chiapas in Mexico posted these photos. You see him here, and says safe houses and ranches used by criminal groups were recently raided by law enforcement. Armored trucks known as monster vehicles were found at one of the locations. 8 people were rescued and 3 alleged members of criminal cells were arrested. Chiapas serves as the starting point for most migrant caravans heading north, in case you're wondering. All right, so if you're planning on driving into Manhattan in the near future, they're going to need to change this to have some snow in it. Be prepared to pay up. New York City's congestion pricing, you heard that right, went into effect Sunday, charging drivers $9 during peak hours if they drive into the most heavily trafficked parts of Lower Manhattan. So the toll faced pushback from New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, as well as President-elect Donald Trump, who cited economic strains and inconvenience for drivers. The city's actually planning to increase the tolls. Goes from bad to worse. $15, Nick, by 2031.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something to talk about. I think people will start taking the train.
I mean, something, but congestion pricing,
I know. Absolutely. That's Manhattan for you. Xavier, thank you so much.
Got it.
All right, President-elect Trump is just 2 weeks out from being sworn into office, and he wants his allies in Congress to start working immediately. What he wants Republicans to close ranks on first. Plus, look at this terrifying video showing a plane's wing turning into a fireball. Seriously, look at that video. Do you see the passengers there looking out the window? They're scared. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't even know if they're going to land safely. What caused it to burst into flames and how those people are doing right now today. And we're tracking the winter storm hitting across much of the country this morning. This is a live look in Indianapolis. Parts of the Midwest also seeing major snow. We'll have another live report in just a minute.
The one and only Bill O'Reilly joins Leland on Balance tonight, only on NewsNation.
The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor tracks your glucose in real time. And over time, it can help lower your A1C. This is progress. Learn more and try for free at freestylelibre.us.
And here we go. Consumer Cellular uses the same towers as Big Wireless, but then passes the savings on to you.
So I get the same fast nationwide coverage if I switch?
Yep. For unlimited talk and text with reliable coverage and your second month free, call Consumer Cellular.
Our heart attack was scary. Never want to go through that again. But we could.
With heart disease, you never know.
So we made changes.
Green juice,
Diet, exercise.
statins helped, but our LDL-C, bad cholesterol, it was stuck. Just couldn't lower it enough. And high LDL-C
It meant a real risk of another attack. So I said, let's ask our doctor about Repatha.
What can I say? Listen to your heart.
Repatha plus a statin dramatically lowers LDL-C by 63% and drops the risk of having a heart attack by 27%. Do not take Repatha if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
We won't let another heart attack set us back.
And neither should you.
Listen to your heart. Lower your LDL-C and your risk with Repatha. Talk to your doctor.
It's a lot to be a caregiver and a daughter because you kind of have to take a step back. Getting some help would be a great relief.
From companions to helpers to caregivers, find all the senior care you need at care.com.
Watch your step. Oh. That's why VisionWorks makes it simple to schedule an eye exam that works for you, even if you have a big trip to plan around.
Thanks.
I mean, I could see you right now. That's convenient.
VisionWorks. See the difference.
I wish my TV provider let me choose what I pay for.
Sling lets you do that.
I wish my TV provider let me choose what I pay for and let me pause my subscription when I want. Sling let you do that. Yeehaw! I wish my TV provider let me choose what I pay for and let me pause my subscription when I want and have hundreds of free channels. Sling lets you do that too.
Choose and customize your channel lineup or watch for free. Sling lets you do that.
With Dupixent, stay ahead of moderate to severe eczema as you welcome the feeling of touch with clearer skin and less itch. The #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists helps heal your skin from within. Severe allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain, vision changes, or blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma or other medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
In journalism, trust is everything. It must be earned every day in the truth of our words and the stories we tell.
I can promise NewsNation's not going anywhere.
NewsNation, built upon a reputation for honest, unbiased news, reporting with integrity, perspective, and experience, building a legacy of journalism you can trust. NewsNation, news for all Americans.
I want you to check out this video that I talked to you about just before the break. Do you see that? That fire coming out of that plane wing there? Yeah. Passengers could see this from their window. That fireball happened while they were trying to land in Halifax. An Air Canada spokesperson says a gear failure caused the plane to slide across the runway, causing one of the wings to catch fire. crew were able to put out the fire quickly, and everyone on board made it out safely. Wow. 19 minutes after the hour, and we're following a major blizzard this morning that's already blanketed the Midwest and is set to leave its mark on the mid-Atlantic. The storm promises to deliver the heaviest snowfall in at least a decade and has already dumped heavy snow, ice, and wind from Kansas to New Jersey. Tyler Melito from our news station affiliate in Kentucky is in Frankfort in the thick of all of it. Tyler, what's the community waking up to this morning?
Yeah, Nick, good morning. It is certainly a cold start today. Many Kentuckians were wanting a white Christmas. Well, they had to wait a few weeks in order to get all that snow. And the big concern right now is the ice. This is a little bit more of an over-exaggeration of what people are seeing, but it is certainly close to an inch thick in certain parts of the state. Now, this storm hit Kentucky in a number of different fashions. Here in Frankfort specifically, oh my God, we just lost power here. There were 88,000 power outages here in the state. And this is what we've been seeing throughout the course of the morning. Power just rolling on and off as crews work to get things back on right now. But people across the state have been trying to experience different things with this storm. Here in Frankfort, as I was just mentioning, it's been a little bit of ice, some freezing rain, and we're going to see more snow later on today. We got about 7 inches throughout the course of the day yesterday, while other parts of the state got more snow, other parts of the state got more rain. Now, good news here, most of the roadways are clear. I'll step out of the way so you get a better look at it. This is one of the main roads here in Frankfort, just coming off the highway. And good news right now, crews have been working nonstop. Governor Andy Beshear saying yesterday in a press conference last night that there were more than 2,300 employees across the state working to clear the roads and get people to where they need to go. But the important thing to note there, Governor Beshear making it very clear, is you don't have to go anywhere. Stay inside the best you can, because there's just so much uncertainty. A number of roads are still very slick, especially in the more rural parts of the state, some of those more mountainous regions. We're going to be tracking it very closely, though, here in Kentucky. For right now, though, the big concern rest of the day is that snowfall. We're expecting to see a few more inches throughout the course of the day. Hopefully, though, we see more summer-like temperatures very, very soon. Nick, back over to you.
And Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the reasons it's such a concern is because when that snow and ice hits power lines, it can bring down those power lines and cause some of the rolling blackouts that you just showed us.
Exactly. That's been the big concern our meteorologists have been forecasting throughout the course of the last week. And we've seen in a few spots here in Frankfort that ice is starting to accumulate and weighing down those lines. Fortunately, we haven't seen too many power outages aside from the rolling blackouts that we just experienced. But still, it could be very dicey in some of the more rural parts of the state.
Tyler Melito in the thick of it all. Tyler, stay safe, and thank you so much. President-elect Trump is stepping up pressure on Republicans to act on his agenda with his inauguration now just 2 weeks from today. And in just hours from now, the House is set to certify his election. The president-elect posting to social media overnight saying members of Congress are getting to work on one powerful bill that will bring our country back. We must secure our border, unleash American energy, and renew the Trump tax cuts. The president-elect also doubling down on his no tax on tips promise, saying, quote, it will all be made up with tariffs. Sources telling Politico that scores of House Republicans will be traveling to Mar-a-Lago at the end of the week for meetings with the president-elect, as NBC reports that he wants to make sure Republicans across the ideological spectrum are unified. Let's bring in staff writer for National Review, Caroline Downey. Caroline, first of all, good morning. House Speaker Mike Johnson echoing the president-elect's language on that big, beautiful bill, saying he wants to pass as early as April. Let's take a listen and talk on the other side.
I think at the end of the day, President Trump is going to prefer, as he likes to say, one big, beautiful bill. That doesn't mean that we won't come right out of the gates, full-fledged, right out of the beginning of the Congress. And so we'll be addressing border. We've got a number of bills just over the next 2 weeks.
Caroline, is it beautiful, and will it face an uphill battle?
The fact remains that the GOP majority in the House is very thin. Johnson can only afford to lose one Republican vote, and he's grappling with the Freedom Caucus, which he's had to corral into not only saving him the speakership gavel, but now into getting across the board these bills and legislation with priorities. And of course, Trump wants the border secured and he wants to unleash American energy. But the Freedom Caucus is concerned with excessive spending, and there's some more fiscal hawkishness on that cohort right now. And so Johnson is going to have to, I think, give them concessions as this process gets underway, or else his position is in jeopardy. And I just hope that we can move past this new normal of constant chaos over the speakership leadership position, because it definitely does slow the process and, prevents anything meaningful from getting done.
And I think the American people sit back saying, what are they doing? They get frustrated with the delays. But Caroline, let me ask you this. We've talked a lot about these razor-thin margins on that Mr. Johnson has. But if Mr. Johnson is pushing through legislation that is popular, because some Democrats could back their border security measures in these smaller bills they're planning, right? So is it possible that he could get some Democrat support?
I think there is obviously this mandate from the American people to enforce the border security and to honestly get the deportation program is also very popular. A majority of Americans support that, including a third of Democrats. So I think as the agenda gets underway, I do think some Democrats from more like purple districts will join the other side, because they recognize that this is a very top priority. It's the reason why Trump won this election, and a big reason why the Democrats lost is because they didn't give enough airtime to this legitimate issue. They mostly gaslit the American people that it really wasn't happening, or that it was good that it was happening. And I'll say that doesn't really help that the Biden administration is continuing to ignore how important of an issue that is by auctioning off the border wall materials left behind by the Trump administration, so that Trump will have to restart the funding process for those materials all over again, and they're very expensive, and he only has 4 years to implement this part of the agenda. So it is, I would think, sabotage, and Democrats, I don't think, can afford to ignore it.
Oh, Caroline, we know that you'll be keeping a close eye on all of it. Caroline Downey, thank you so much. We're finding out more about the soldier who blew up a Cybertruck in Las Vegas on New Year's Day while he was still sitting inside that vehicle. The struggles he was reportedly dealing with, and how the military might have to address mental health issues among the rank and file. And right now, you're looking live at the snow falling in Nashville, Indiana. That's happening right now. Look at that. It actually looks really good and peaceful, right? But it can be dangerous. A winter storm moving now across the country. We'll have the latest forecast after the break.
Ever worry that you're drinking too much? Take back control with Or Health. Or Health provides access to medication proven to help. A daily pill to drink less, or to quit drinking altogether. Qualify for treatment at orhealth.com.
Icy Hot Pro Massaging Balm. Easy to grip and massage, and the power of 2 max strength pain relievers. Ice works fast, heat makes it last. Icy Hot Pro Massaging Balm.
Safe like repair. Perfecting your swing is hard.
Nice shot, Dad.
SafeLight replace. But replacing your windshield doesn't have to be. Go to SafeLight.com and we can come to you.
Sick.
Our highly trained techs can replace your windshield where you are, even if that's right in your driveway.
Have a good day. I love you.
SafeLight makes it easy. Go to SafeLight.com and schedule a replacement today.
SafeLight repair. SafeLight replace. Woo!
COVID-19. I'm not waiting. If it's COVID, Paxlovid.
Paxlovid is an oral treatment for adults with mild to moderate COVID-19 and a high risk factor for it becoming severe. It does not prevent COVID-19.
My symptoms are mild now, but I'm not risking it. If it's COVID, Paxlovid.
Paxlovid must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms and help stop the virus from multiplying in your body.
Taking Paxlovid with certain medicines can lead to serious or life-threatening side effects or affect how it or other medicines work, including hormonal birth control. Tell your doctor about all medicines, vitamins, and herbal supplements you take, as certain tests or dosage changes of your other medicines may be needed. Tell them if you have kidney or liver problems, HIV-1, are or plan to be pregnant, or breastfeed. Don't take Paxlovid if allergic to its ingredients. Stop taking and call your doctor right away if you have allergic reaction symptoms. Serious side effects can include allergic reactions, some severe like anaphylaxis, and liver problems. These are not all the possible side effects, so talk to your doctor.
If it's COVID, Paxlovid.
Ask your doctor today.
When my hair started to thin, I thought, am I going to have any hair left?
After I gave birth, my hair wasn't even thinning, it was gone.
When I spoke to my dermatologist, he immediately pointed me in the direction of Nutrafol.
It's 100% drug-free and clinically tested.
Within 3 months, my hair was fuller.
It's longer, it's so much thicker.
I had more scalp coverage.
It was so nice to be noticed for my hair after hiding it for so many years.
Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com.
I'm certain it's level 5.
Are you for imprint certain?
I'm certain it's level 5.
Certainty matters, like the certainty of 4imprint, your home for high-quality promotional gear, including exclusive items and brands they love, printed perfectly and guaranteed to arrive on time. To wow your clients, nail your next event, or inspire your team, check out 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
Welcome back. 30 minutes after the hour. Here's a look at the top stories we're following this morning. Investigators say the man who drove a truck into a crowd of people celebrating the New Year in New Orleans visited the city twice and used smart glasses to scout out locations. The FBI also has video showing 42-year-old Shamsu Din Jabbar planting homemade bombs around Bourbon Street. It's still unclear, however, why he chose New Orleans. President Biden is planning to visit the city later today. In just a few hours, Congress is planning to formally certify President-elect Donald Trump's election victory. Tall fencing will surround the U.S. Capitol complex as an extra layer of security. Those extra measures aiming to prevent another riot trying to stop the peaceful transfer of power, as happened 4 years ago when a mob of Trump supporters stormed the building and sent lawmakers and Vice President Mike Pence running for their lives. No protests are expected for today. Millions of people could see the heaviest snowfall in a decade as major winter storms move through the country's midsection. In Kansas and Missouri, cars and trucks spinning out of control and crashing in that blizzard-like condition. While people in those states dig out, the storm is moving further east, closing schools and government buildings in several states. NewsNation meteorologist Max Perez joins us in the Weather Center with the very latest on this forecast. Max, millions of people are in the path of this storm. How bad will it get for people today?
We're talking about a 2,100-mile stretch of area that was impacted by the storm, so many Americans are going to be waking up feeling the effects, including our flyers. In fact, areas around D.C. and Baltimore experiencing the worst airport delays in the world right now. There are over 200 cancellations over at Reagan National. That's more than 50% of all their flights. Baltimore, you're at 107 cancellations. That's more than a third of your flights. So we're going to keep your airplanes red through the day as we look at the D.C. metro, north towards Baltimore as well, with that heavy snow mix coming down. But we're going to see delays as far west as Chicago, as far south as Orlando, out of this powerful storm system. You can see above me as well, we're not just dealing with the flights that are seeing effects, we're also seeing a lot of those drivers that are impacted. This is a look at Indiana right now, where slide-offs are occurring right now. Let me just wrap up with this. We are showing the heavy snow reaching towards Washington, D.C. this morning, certainly, and we're going to see another several inches as we get through the day. So there you can see 2 to 6 inches with that significant icing through the Virginias. So, Nick, a far-reaching storm system here affecting flights, affecting those drivers. And remember, we're coming back to work after a long stretch of holiday time off. Many more folks on the roads, again, dealing with this significant storm system.
We need people who are headed out on the roads to move with caution. Max, thank you so much. The highly decorated U.S. Army Green Beret behind the New Year's Day Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas had a history of depression and was receiving mental health treatment. Now, that's according to a U.S. official. It comes as a new report from the Defense Health Agency found that diagnoses of mental health disorders among active duty troops jumped nearly 40% from 2019 to 2023. Authorities say 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger killed himself moments before exploding the rented Cybertruck in front of the Trump International Hotel. The Las Vegas assistant sheriff says they still have thousands of videos and documents to sift through, but new details about his motive are coming to light. Joining us now to help us break it all down is NewsNation senior national security contributor, retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton. General Newton, there are so many questions I have for you because I have to believe, like so many who have served, that this hit personally when you found out that the accused attacker was indeed someone who has worn the uniform and has sworn an oath. We understand that there's a layer of mental health ascribed to the suspect. But General Newton, the obvious question with all of this, notes left behind by Livelsberger say that the explosion was, quote, a wake-up call. And other letters covered a wide range of topics, including political grievances and societal problems. What do you make of these writings and his situation?
Well, good morning, Nick. It certainly is a horrible tragedy, and I think we're going to learn more and more in terms of the circumstances surrounding his suicide and so forth. But I think first and foremost, as I mentioned, this horrible tragedy really lends itself to underscoring, and I want our viewers to appreciate the fact of the stigma that our military members have and our veterans have in terms of just going and reaching out and seeking mental health support as possibly can. As you mentioned, I've close family members who have multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan and elsewhere. Son-in-law serves in special operations and so forth. So the challenge we have with our men and women who have served, especially after 9/11, is these traumatic brain injuries, obviously the stress, post-traumatic stress disorders and so forth. But the bottom line is, and I want all our military members and our veterans to know that they can reach out. There is no stigma to alerting your chain of command, but also alerting health officials that you are having challenges. Reach out and so that you can get the health care needed to prevent such a tragedy from happening.
And General Newton, I think that's why I wanted to have you talk about this specifically, because again, you understand and I understand, and I think people at home may not get that the fact that he was Special Forces means that it was actually an elevated. He is the best of the best. And he clearly indicated in one note to an ex-girlfriend or something that he suggested that he was afraid of going forward because he didn't want it to hinder his opportunity to possibly advance in the service or be deployed again. Now, authorities say they found letters in his phone that explained how he wanted to cleanse his mind of brothers that he had lost and relieve himself of the burden of the lives that he had taken. How does the military monitor service members who are coping with experiences of war when we still need them to also still be active and ready for deployment?
Well, that's a common thread, and like you said, it's the fact that not so much not willing to come forward, but the stigma of coming forward and so forth, and the stresses of combat since 9/11 are very high among our population of, as I mentioned, military members and our veterans. We have 16 million veterans still alive today in the United States. If you served in the military after 9/11, you've had more of an opportunity to be in a combat zone than perhaps any era of those who served in veteran leading up to 9/11. But what the Department of Defense is trying to do in the Veterans Affairs is, first off, is very important that the leadership all the way up and down the rank, Nick, the ranks have a supportive environment for those such as this Green Beret. And secondly, the fact that there are trying to reduce the barriers to health care, both again for our military members and our veteran population as well. The third is to enhance and improve suicide prevention. That's not just for the member, but it's also for the entire organization, especially those in the military. And the fourth is reducing this stigma of reaching out and seeking mental health care. This Master Sergeant, this Green Beret, was indeed the best of the best. He was a team sergeant, deployed multiple times, Bronze Star for Valor. For maybe many of our viewers, it may not add up, but the challenge is with the silent wounds, and you know military members also, the silent wounds of traumatic brain injuries, as I mentioned, and also post-traumatic stress are very difficult for this particular generation of men and women serving to not only uncover, but to recognize themselves and to come forward. I would encourage all our military members, if they've got challenges such as this, to seek out the help, because the help is there.
Lieutenant General Richard Newton, thank you so much for putting a bow on that for me. Thank you so much, sir. Have a good day. We'll talk soon.
Good morning, Nick.
She was sent to life in prison for killing a young singer who's become a Latin music legend. Now Selena's killer is up for parole for the first time in nearly 30 years, while Yolanda Saldivar says she herself faces danger if she stays behind bars, and when we could find out if she will be released.
Your pain shouldn't be minimized or forgotten. When medicine gets better, all of us can get better.
Go, friends, gather! Kiki, Chris,
friends. Let's go. Let's go, friends.
Buddy, power, friendship. Let's go. Give it to me.
Struggling with the highs and lows of bipolar 1? Ask about Vraylar, because you are greater than your bipolar 1, and you can help take control of your symptoms with Vraylar. Some medicines only treat the lows or highs. Vraylar treats depressive, acute manic, and mixed episodes of bipolar 1 in adults. Proven full-spectrum relief for all bipolar 1 symptoms. Vraylar is not approved for elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis due to increased risk of death or stroke. Report changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts to your doctor. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles or confusion, which may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness and feeling like you need to move, sleepiness, nausea, vomiting, and indigestion are common. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. Visit Vraylar.com to see additional side effects. Ask about Vraylar. AbbVie could help you save.
Watch your step. Oh. That's why VisionWorks makes it simple to schedule an eye exam that works for you, even if you have a big trip to plan around.
Thanks.
I mean, I could see you right now. That's convenient. VisionWorks. See the difference.
Mike Huckabee here for Vinia, the remarkable red grape superfood for better blood flow. I have taken Vinia every day for 3 years. It's been a life changer for me. The science is sound. In a 90-day clinical trial, Vinia significantly increased the dilation of arteries. This dilation increases blood flow. Better blood flow gives me the physical energy I want. Better blood flow means more oxygen can go to my brain to give me the mental alertness that I need to be at the top of my game. Call or go online to get your first month free. Guaranteed results or your money back.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56.
DealDash.com. Online auctions since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. This iPad Pro sold for less than $34. Go to DealDash.com and see how much you can save.
The darkness of bipolar depression made me feel like I was losing interest in the things I love. Then I found a chance to let in the light.
Discover Capilita. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Capilita is proven to deliver significant symptom relief from both bipolar 1 and 2 depression. And in clinical trials, movement disorders and weight gain were not common.
Capilita can cause serious side effects. Call your doctor about sudden mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks in young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Capilita is not approved for dementia-related psychosis. Report fever, confusion, or stiff muscles which may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements which may be permanent. Common side effects include sleepiness, dizziness, nausea, and dry mouth. These aren't all the side effects.
In the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Capilita can help you let in the light. Ask your doctor about Capilita. Find savings and support at Capilita.com.
Welcome back, 42 minutes after the hour. After 30 years behind bars, the woman convicted of murdering Latin pop icon Selena in a crime that shocked the entire world is asking to be released from prison. Yolanda Saldivar is eligible for parole for the first time in March. She shot the 23-year-old singer at the height of her fame in 1995 at a motel in Corpus Christi, Texas. Saldivar was the president of Selena's fan club and was embezzling money from the Grammy-winning artist. NewsNation's Brooke Schaefer joins us now. Brooke, what can you tell us about Saldivar's request and how this may upset some Selena fans?
Well, Nick, this request by the star's killer to get out of jail comes nearly 3 decades after the murder, and as the woman charged claims she's being targeted by other inmates, according to reports. Yolanda Saldivar is right now serving a life sentence for shooting and killing up-and-coming singer Selena Quintanilla in 1995. Now, almost 30 years later, the convicted killer has requested parole, and reports say that she claims there's a bounty on her head targeted by inmates who want justice for Selena. Quintanilla was just 23 years old and already a rising music star and Grammy winner when she was shot and killed. Her album, Dreaming of You, remains the best-selling Latin album in U.S. history. Her killer, Yolanda Saldivar, was a former business associate and president of Selena's fan club. Prosecutors argued that she shot Selena after the singer discovered Saldivar was embezzling money. Saldivar in the past has argued that the shooting was accidental. And the now 64-year-old killer was sent to a maximum security prison in Texas with a chance at parole after serving 30 years, which is exactly what she is hoping for now. Saldivar is eligible for parole as of March 30th, and one of her biggest arguments now is that she believes she's safer at home than she is in prison. Nick?
Brooke, quick question. Could she actually be released from prison?
Well, Nick, some people argue that parole is unlikely given the severity of the crime and Saldivar's unwillingness to admit any fault. This also isn't the first time that she has tried to get out of prison. Her legal team has filed multiple appeals, including a 2019 appeal claiming missing trial evidence. So far, all of her appeals have been denied. The parole board will now review her file, including support and protest letters, before making a final decision. If granted parole, she would serve the remainder of her sentence under community supervision. If denied, her next review date would be set for 1 to 5 years later. Nick?
Brooke Schaefer with the latest. Brooke, thank you so much. Well, a major city is taking a new approach on juvenile crime. No jail time for certain offenses.
Thanks, y'all.
How Philadelphia is still aiming to keep kids out of getting into more trouble.
Saving for retirement was tough enough.
And navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we keep a disciplined approach with your portfolio, helping you through the market's ups and downs.
What about communication?
We check in regularly to keep you informed.
Which means you'll help us stay on track?
Yes. As a fiduciary, we always put your interest first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
New projects means new project managers. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
Your loved ones are getting older, and they need your support. Care.com is here to help. It's an easy way to find background-checked senior caregivers in your area and some peace of mind. See why millions of families have trusted Care. Go to Care.com now.
If you take or have taken Humira for moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis and still have symptoms, you don't have to settle. Ask your gastroenterologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you. It's one of the latest treatments from the makers of Humira. Rinvoq works differently than Humira and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can deliver rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission, and helps visibly reduce damage of the intestinal lining.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin. Serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Rapid symptom relief and lasting steroid-free remission are possible with Rinvoq. Ask your gastroenterologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you. You could pay as little as $0 per month.
My hair was thinning all around my hairline.
My dermatologist recommended Nutrafol. It's 100% drug-free and clinically tested.
My hair is longer, thicker.
Nutrafol is life-changing for me.
Get growing at Nutrafol.com.
Safe Light Repair. Safe Light Replace.
Nobody likes a cracked windshield. But at least you can go to SafeLight.com and schedule a fix in minutes.
Can confirm. Very easy.
SafeLight can come to you for free. And our highly trained techs can replace your windshield right at your home.
Safe Light Repair. Safe Light Replace.
Go to SafeLight.com and schedule a replacement today.
The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor tracks your glucose in real time. And over time, it can help lower your A1C. This is progress. Learn more and try for free at freestylelibre.us.
Oh, and I need these items printed with our logo by Friday.
Certainly.
Are you for imprint certain?
Well, we are for imprint.
Certainty matters, like the certainty of finding the perfect promo gear for gifting at 4imprint. Exclusive items and quality brands to wow your clients, your customers, and your team. Delivered on time. Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now.
4imprint for certain.
HomeGlow just cleaned my entire house for $19. Seriously, $19. They showed up right on time and did my dishes, my laundry, they even cleaned my windows. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19. I love using Home Glow, and I think you will too.
I can feel the winds of change.
All right, starting today, kids will no longer be arrested for committing low-level crimes in Philadelphia. That includes things like shoplifting and vandalism and, in some cases, assaults. Instead, Philadelphia police will be able to place kids in a program that is meant to get them behavioral help. It's a follow-up to a similar program used in Philadelphia public schools. NewsNation's Ryan Bass joins us live. Ryan, I understand the idea behind a diversion program, but what is the main goal of this particular program?
Particularly, Nick, what they want to do is, quite frankly, keep kids out of jail and find better ways to set them on the right path here. And as you mentioned, they actually did one of these programs with the Philadelphia schools, and the city's chief of police said that they were able to cut in-school arrests by 90%, reducing them by about 1,500 every year to just a little over 100. So they found a lot of success with that, and they want to translate that program to a statewide program here. Now, starting today, Philadelphia police will be guided and instructed to stop arresting kids who are accused of first-time low-level offenses. Instead, these 10 to 17-year-olds will be sent to a police diversion program. Now, the city's head of police says he hopes that it'll lessen the trauma of being arrested for them and enables them to look at other ways to address the root causes of these kids' bad behavior. In 2024, minors in Pennsylvania accounted for 12% of arrests for serious crimes. That's per the state's crime reporting system. But half of those arrests were for car thefts. Now, in this new diversion program, they've set up a tiered system to handle kids based on the seriousness of what they've done. So for minor crimes like disorderly conduct, they'll be let go right away, but they'll have to do a one-day restorative program. If it's something like shoplifting or vandalism, cops will drive them to their home or a city curfew center, and they'll have to do extended community programs. For the more serious stuff, like having drugs on them, they'll go through the city's juvenile assessment center and then have home check-ins to make sure that they're staying on track. Now, the police chief has made it clear. He said kids aren't going to be let off the hook for things like shootings, homicides, robberies, and these horrible crimes. He said they will get locked up. But for these non-violent crimes, especially for these juveniles, he says this is a way to promote positive development and reduce the chances that they become convicted felons in the future, Nick.
Ryan Bass with the very latest. Ryan, thank you so much. The NFL regular season is over, meaning the road to the Super Bowl is officially underway. Former NFL quarterback Lester Ricard joins me next to break down the best matchups heading into the wild card roundup. Oh, this week is going to be fire, y'all. Plus, which coaches should be worried about their job security now that the season is over. And right now, you're looking live at Carmel, Indiana, courtesy of EarthCam. Freezing temperatures, heavy snow, and wind hitting millions of Americans. We'll have updates on where the storm is heading next and who will be the hardest hit.
The darkness of bipolar depression made me feel like I was losing interest in the things I love. Then I found a chance to let in the light.
Discover Caplyta. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Caplyta is proven to deliver significant symptom relief from both bipolar 1 and 2 depression. And in clinical trials, movement disorders and weight gain were not common.
Caplyta can cause serious side effects. Call your doctor about sudden mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks in young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Caplyta is not approved for dementia-related psychosis. Report fever, confusion, or stiff muscles which may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements which may be permanent. Common side effects include sleepiness, dizziness, nausea, and dry mouth. These aren't all the side effects.
In the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Caplyta can help you let in the light. Ask your doctor about Caplyta. Find savings and support at caplyta.com.
Take a breath of fresh air with the Stanley Steamer Air Duct Cleaning. We clean over 10 million feet of air ducts each year with our specialized trucks, built by us, removing the contaminants from your home. Your air ducts aren't clean until they're Stanley Steamer Clean.
It's your home cleaner.
Meet firefighter Andrew Washington. When lives depend on physical strength and mental sharpness, firefighters rely on Vinia, the red grape circulation superfood for better blood flow.
I've been taking Vinia for 6 months. It helps with blood flow. I can tell a huge boost.
Vinia significantly increases the dilation of arteries and delivers oxygen and essential nutrients to your brain and heart.
I've seen a huge difference. You have that energy all throughout the day, and we all love that.
Power your blood flow with Vinia capsules, coffees, and teas. Learn how to get your first month free.
Framing is hard, but FrameBridge is easy. Custom frames, premium materials, transparent pricing. Get started at framebridge.com or visit a store today.
I can't go back to jail!
Wait, did you rob my bank?
Sharon is Karen, bro.
Let's make like dice and roll.
Your record label is taking off, but so is your sound engineer. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
Kate made progress with her mental health, but her medication caused unintentional movements in her face, hands, and feet called tardive dyskinesia, or TD. So her doctor prescribed Austedo XR, a once-daily extended-release TD treatment for adults. Austedo XR significantly reduced Kate's TD movements. Some people saw a response as early as 2 weeks. With Austedo XR, Kate can stay on her mental health meds.
Oh, hi, buddy. Austedo XR can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Pay close attention to and call your doctor if you become depressed, have sudden changes in mood, or have suicidal thoughts. Don't take if you have liver problems, are taking reserpine, tetrabenazine, or valbenazine. Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking, or sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia, and sleepiness.
Ask your doctor for Austedo XR.
Position. Here's Nix. Rolling out. Looking for the rookie record. Ball tipped and caught. Oh my gosh.
That was beautiful. Devon Beal with the late catch of the year candidate during Sunday's Broncos-Chiefs game in Denver. That incredible double-tip touchdown proved to be more than enough to help Denver clinch the last playoff spot in the AFC with a win 38-0 over their arch rivals. Now, that game, one of several from the weekend with major playoff implications. And with the final week of the regular season in the books, here's a look at the wild card round matchups. A full slate of NFL action this weekend, starting with Saturday with the Texans and the Chargers, and lasting all the way through Monday night with Vikings-Rams. For more on the sports on this, help me break it all down and what it could mean for the game and how it all could shake out, sports analyst and former NFL QB Lester Ricard Jr. Lester, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Denver, here we are in the playoffs for the first time since 2015. This is definitely good for, Russell Wilson and the group there. But Lester, some really exciting games on tap for the wild card round, including what's sure to be a chippy game between AFC North rivals Pittsburgh and Baltimore. But which game is going to be the best of the weekend? What's the one people will regret not seeing if they miss it?
Honestly, I believe you touched on it yourself. I believe that matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens is the creme de la creme of all the games that we have coming up on the slate this weekend. You talk about games this year that were decided by one-score games. You have Lamar Jackson, who's probably primed to be the MVP of the National Football League after throwing for 41 touchdowns and rushing for 8 touchdowns during the regular season. Derrick Henry almost eclipsing 2,000 yards for the second time of his career. And then you look at the other side. Mike Tomlin has gotten his team to this point for the last 10 years where they've at least gotten to the playoffs, but they haven't been able to get over the hump. And then you talk about a division rival, two teams who hate each other. Patrick Queen, a year ago, was playing for those same Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, and now he's a linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there's so many different narratives. There's so many different things. We watch these two teams on Hard Knocks for the season, and to see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff has been remarkable.
And, initially people were wondering if Tomlin and Russell Wilson would get along and be able to work together, but it seems like it has actually worked out to their favor there. Which of the 6 division winners playing this weekend is the most likely to lose their game despite having home field advantage?
Oh, you got to look at the Houston Texans. Man, you talk about a team that really fills it out at the end of the season. They started off on this high note, playing so well. You know, many pundits before the season predicted the Houston Texans would be challenging the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship game this year. And they started off hot. But when you lose guys like they have, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs, guys who are elite wide receivers to season-ending injuries, it just puts your program back. And it just looks like C.J. Stroud has not been the quarterback that he was as a rookie. And so they have me nervous. I know DeMeco Ryans has done a phenomenal job since he's been the head coach there. But I am really concerned about their football team going into this playoff game.
Absolutely. And Lester, with that blowout by Detroit with Vikings, there's so much more you and I can talk about. Lester Ricard Jr., thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody, do you have that cup of coffee in your hand? Well, you should, because guess what? We have more news for all Americans, and it starts right now.